Hi everyone, Sam here. I've been playing BattleBit lately. Just wanted to share some tips and tricks I've picked up playing the recon class lately, averaging around 50 kills a game. If you've watched any other videos, you probably know this one already, but it's the most important tip on here, so I think it's worth mentioning. Basically, you're going to want to use a medium range scope instead of the long range scopes. This will eliminate scope glint, and it generally works fine for longer distances, even though everything will be a bit smaller. Scope glint gives away position very easily. You can see it through trees from pretty much anywhere across the map, so get rid of that and keep your position hidden. Personally, I find the MDX201 kind of useless. I know it's pretty cool, so it's tempting to use. But not only are there much better attachments, I believe, to use, such as the grappling hook, um, drone, if you're doing the suicide drone thing, but more often than not, this will actually give away your position rather than tricking the enemy. It's very often that I see people using the medium range scope trick that I mentioned earlier for no scope glint, but actually have one of these placed right next to them, so drawing the enemy's attention to them anyways. Another mini tip here is that you can actually tell that someone is using one of these by the pattern it makes. It kind of turns on and off. So if you see a scope glint for a long period of time without any blinking, it's probably an actual person. For your primary gadget, I would either go with the C4, which you can use to get better positioning or possibly kill some enemies that get super close to you, or the Claymore, just to cover your back. This is especially useful if you've climbed a building using a grappling hook and you want to make sure that no one can follow you up. The other ones I find are not very helpful for the sniper class specifically. One other thing is if you are doing the drone bomb, you will need to use the anti-personnel mine here. So for attachments other than the scope, we have the barrel. So recoil doesn't really matter as much because you're just going to be taking one shot at a time anyways, so you can focus on other things like velocity or muzzle flash without affecting your accuracy. I'd recommend the VAM B762 here, which just increases velocity. The bolt is pretty much a personal preference between bolts C, D, and E. All of these have the auto bolt and allow for bolt action to work in ADS, so that means you can stay zoomed in and take shots as fast as possible. The only difference here is running speed and draw versus control. So if you're more of a close range run and gun sniper, maybe go with the C, and otherwise just go with E. Underbarrel rail, I feel, doesn't really affect much. I went with the stubby grip, again, just to get that extra draw speed. And then for magazine and side rail, I don't have anything equipped. I find the lights to be useless. The magazine is too big of a trade-off to have the quick mag, since you get less ammo. I could see going with the extended mag there just for the extra ammo, but it does make you less mobile, so I generally go with this instead. For the canted sight, you could put something on there if you want. I find it doesn't really do much. There's very limited scenarios in which you could actually use it, but it doesn't really affect anything, so you could put it on if you enjoy using it. So by default, the Recon class actually starts out with this light vest. I would recommend switching that out for the medium armor vest, and this will actually give you a lot more ammo and an extra throwable with not too much noticeable movement loss. If you really want, you can also switch out your camo if you have them unlocked to match the map. Positioning is probably the most important aspect of sniping successfully. So at rank 20 you can actually start using the grappling hook, which I recommend, and that's just a great way to get into some high up, more unpredictable spots. Remember though, I did say unpredictable, so if you're using it to climb the water tower or something like that, just know that that's probably the first place other snipers are going to check. One thing I like to do when taking a position is to use cover to limit where I can be shot from. The ideal position is actually one where everything is covered except for what you can see. So an example of this may be in a room where you're looking out the window, and basically what this would mean is that anyone that can shoot you, you'll probably be able to see them beforehand. which means you can at least get a shot at killing them before they kill you. As opposed to if you're on an open roof, for example, you can be shot from the back or the sides, or areas where you're not even looking. If your teammate's map control is good enough, you can kind of use that as your cover. So say you have 50 friendlies to the side, you probably don't need cover on that side. But one thing that you can also do to help out with this is building cover yourself, which you can do with the middle mouse button. The only thing that I would watch out for here is if someone is looking for you and they see the top of a building is covered in these buildable covers, you can usually be sure that someone is up there, so it can give away your position. Finally, if you are in that room looking out the window, just make sure that you back up a bit so that your gun isn't sticking out and again giving away your position. Essentially what you're going to want to do here is in regards to the checkpoints, friendly tags, names, pretty much everything that shows up on your screen, you're going to want to lower the size and opacity as much as you can while still getting that vital information. Rather than having all of this clogging up your screen with stuff that's essentially useless, you'll have more space to spot enemies and better see what's going on. That's all I have for today. Hopefully you guys picked something up. Let me know any other tricks you have in the comments below. I'd love to hear some stuff that I could incorporate into my own gameplay. Thanks for watching.